I'm about to finish War. You wanted to borrow it? Louis Ferdinand Céline's War. You wanted to borrow that?
Did I?
You asked.
Oh, well, I had talked about how I was a friend of Luis,
Oh yeah.
and I had read an early manuscript of War.
Yeah. Well, it was lost.
Well, I read it before he lost it.
Oh, so you read it before he fled.
He was like, I got this great manuscript. I love it. And I was like, that's awesome. And he was like, also, I don't feel too good about staying here right now. And I was like,
why?
what?
Why is that?
Yeah, and I didn't understand. And then,
So you didn't know about any of his Nazi sympathies?
no, really?
Wow, I mean that's pretty well known about him. It's one of the most well known things about him.
We just never talked about it.
What'd you guys talk about?
We talked about Catholicism and the body of Christ and symbols of the body of Christ, and also
Well, you're thinking about an entirely different guy that I mentioned the other night,
and also popular music. Who was the guy you mentioned the other night?
Leon Bloy.
Right, also a close friend of mine. Well, because Luis and Leon, it's been so long since I've seen him.
Louis,
Where's Luis now?
he's dead.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, he died quite a time ago. His wife died at 109. It's pretty crazy.
Well, when did Luis die?
60s?
Oh, yeah, the last time I saw him was 1956.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was still alive, though.
No. So you're a big fan of Journey to the End of the Night?
Once again, I read the early manuscript. I always thought what he wrote was good.
You read the early manuscript? So how long have you known him for?
Well, I mean, I guess I haven't seen him since the 60s. I thought he was still kicking around. But technically, from the start of knowing him to this moment right now would be, over 100 years, right?
I don't think so.
A really
Maybe.
long time.
Right, yeah, probably over 100 years.
Yeah. I
So
knew
you've
him.
known him since you was a baby?
Yeah, pretty much we were raised together.
Oh, but how do you know Leon Bloy then?
We went to the same high school.
But Leon Bloy,
I bop around.
okay. So
Yeah.
you knew Louis Ferdinand as a baby and you were raised together.
Yeah, where was
But
he
then-
born again?
He was born in some part of France,
Oh.
Paris.
But yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Leon did not like fascists. He didn't know about the Nazis yet, but
Well, he died before them.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
But he probably would have.
Don't worry, I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Louis did like the Nazis. I remember that now.
Yes, yeah.
Why would he flee France? He must have been excited when they came.
No, he fled France because he was going to get arrested for, associating with...
Post-war?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I was living in America at that time.
Oh, okay.
He was sending me letters during the Third Reich, and not a lot of stuff was coming out about the mass murder of Jews and other minorities.
So because of that, you probably thought it was good.
The only thing I knew about the Third Reich was from Lewis's letters.
So you probably thought it was good then.
He was like, the economy's great.
So you thought it was good. You thought the Third Reich was good.
Well, I want to make the caveat that the only thing I knew about it was from Lewis's letters. And to me, it sounded...
Well, a lot of people did.
To me, it sounded
So
nice.
a lot of people only knew about that, but we still think of them as Nazis.
And I do now.
But they would know now.
And I want to say, even at the time, I was a little fishy about I mean, I never went to the Third Reich. Because some people will tell you about, like, the Six Flags on Long Island, and you go, that sounds nice, but, I don't think I'll go.
Yeah.
So that was sort of how I felt about the Third Reich.
So you thought the Third Reich sounded nice.
I thought it sounded nice, yeah.
So
But I didn't know about the anti-Semitism, the xenophobia.
A lot of people didn't.
The
A
nationalism.
lot of people that were there, and they still get blamed.
Right, and I think that's...
So I feel like you should also get kind of blamed.
Well, okay, yeah, no, I mean, I understand your point. I mean, Time Magazine put Hitler as a Man of the Year in, like, 33 or something, so...
But the Man of the Year doesn't need to be...
Man of the Year.
Man of the Year... They were going to make Osama bin Laden the Man of the Year, and then they couldn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, because he's just the Man of the Year. He made the most...
What
most
year?
plays.
What year?
I don't remember what year. Probably 2001. That was his biggest play.
That was definitely his biggest play. Which, honestly, when you think about like Osama bin Laden's total career, it's like not that successful. Because he had like a couple like maybe bus bombings in London and stuff. But, you know, I think Al-Qaeda did do some sort of early World Trade Center attack where a guy like ran in with a bomb. But it's mostly 9/11.
Oh, yeah, but 9/11 was so like iconic, you know, and influential.
Well, that's the thing about something like 9/11 is it's kind of like the band Blind Melon. Al-Qaeda's a little bit like Blind Melon, where it's like we all love No Rain, but then you ask somebody to name another song and you can't because they're kind of a one-hit wonder.
Oh, that's an interesting way to view it.
And, you know, when push came to shove, they weren't very good at defending themselves against the U.S. military.
I mean, Osama lasted a good solid, maybe, 10 years?
He did as an individual. The group as a whole, not very strong.
I mean, they lasted pretty long, and the U.S. government was going after them. That's the biggest military in the world.
I don't think Al-Qaeda. I mean,
pretty good.
Al-Qaeda is interesting because I think some sects of Al-Qaeda still exist in northern Africa. I think, but it's kind of weird because I wonder if, like, you know how sometimes people will like in comedy, like the comedy mothership is the new thing, and some people would be like, "Why would you stay in L.A. when like we have the mothership happening?" Do you think there's like a similar thing happening between like new ISIS factions and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda? I mean, ISIS is kind of now worn out its welcome.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Do you think there's ever like if you're the kind of guy to get into terrorism, it's just kind of interesting where it's like, do you think there's any guys in the Taliban that are like, we're not as cool as we used to be?
You think any like mass shooters were ever just being like, well, I should have just joined Al-Qaeda or ISIS or whatever?
Oh, I think if you have the disposition to do a mass shooting, why would you not join just a terrorist organization?
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is you don't actually have that. You kind of want to die, I think, if you're doing a mass shooting. Like you kind of have a death wish and you just like really just want to hurt other people and don't really have values. I think like the funny thing about joining something like the Taliban is like they now, you know, own Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So like to join the Taliban, you actually have to kind of want to really do the work. To be like, no, we commit a terrorist attack, we get away with it, we take control of a country, we govern the country, we install Sharia law. But like the guys that are mass shooters are kind of like nihilists.
They're lazy.
They're lazy, but
they want a participation trophy.
But you would say they're kind of nihilists, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like they kind of think nothing matters and who cares and let's just kill people. I don't think the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or ISIS is a CIA. ISIS is just created by the CIA.
Yeah.
Along with Al-Qaeda pretty much do. But like if you're like in like Hamas, let's say, you're kind of the opposite of a nihilist.
Yeah, you really believe in what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're fighting like a decolonial struggle or something like that, yeah.
You were in a band with Osama bin Laden, right? Before all that stuff happened.
We're in a new wave band.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing is like new wave was happening and punk was happening, and a lot of the punks were because new wave came a little after.
Yeah,
and they were like, "This is bullshit," because the punks really thought they were doing something, you know. And I love punk. I hung out with a lot of punk artists. I used to open for the Dwarves when I was a solo hardcore artist.
Okay, but Dwarves are pretty past new wave.
I know, but it is in the early stages.
Okay.
There's kind of timelines mixing here, but just don't worry about it. But yeah, so me and Osama were doing like a new wave thing, and he was really mad at like the dead Kennedys and stuff for like talking about new wave and saying it was gay.
Yeah.
And, you know, people considered our band just radio pop.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had like cool lyrics. Like we were called London Bus, and we'd talk about like plans for terror attacks and like certain verses would just be straight from the Quran. just to keep
that's cool.
like a fun, because he was, a bit of a fundamentalist in that. I wasn't very religious at the time,
Yeah.
but it never bothered me, his beliefs, or he never pressed them upon other people.
What was your biggest hit?
I mean, not a lot of hits, but you might have heard Hijab Now, Hijab Forever.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so it was...
Duran Duran later copied the beats, like the sound of it.
Yeah, we tried to take him to court.
Yeah.
But by that time, Osama was busy. So
okay.
He had kind of shrugged it all off by the time 9/11 happened. Which, watching 9/11 was a weird experience for me. Because a lot of people saw it, and they were like, America's under attack. The history of aviation will change forever. The history of this country is forever changed. And I saw 9/11, and I just thought to myself, the band is over.
Oh.
Because I knew he did it. It was like, he talked about this. It's totally something he would do. He talked about trying to hit the financial and the executive and the military sector of America tons of times. And it was always hard to decipher, like, what if this is like artistic inspiration for lyrics and what if this is actual plans? Because in the midst of the new wave stuff happening, of the London bus sort of era,
yeah,
he was still involved with Al-Qaeda and the Soviets and amassing weapons and stockpiles. And so there was always an annoyance there of kind of splitting time of like, well, are you in it or are you not? Yeah,
I get that. So in a way, that was kind of him flying the plane, having the plane flown into was kind of your Let It Be roof concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watched 9/11 on my television. I was in Beirut at the time.
Yeah.
But I watched 9/11 on the television, and I was crying because it was sad, but a smile came across my face. And, I sort of, not dreaming, it was me speaking, but kind of through the voice of my grandma, just said, just let him go.
Yeah. Let it be.
Yeah. But sort of my let it be, let it go.
Yeah, okay.
And just let him, because I knew he was happy.
Yeah.
And I always wanted him to
That was kind of the happiest moment of his life.
I think definitely. I didn't get to talk to him at the time or ever again after that.
Oh,
but
damn.
It was kind of like we had this struggle. We had these dreams of making this new wave band happen. He was always so upset, either about the band or about, the Zionist colonization of Palestine.
Yeah.
So he was always upset. And I saw 9/11, and I just finally was just sort of took a breath and was like, just let him go. Let him be happy. Let him be.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love him so much, but sometimes you love your friends and they go out of your life for different reasons. And it's okay that our paths have diverged.
So the timeline is kind of like musically, it's like rockabilly that leads to punk, which leads to new wave, which leads to 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty easily make the argument.
The new wave music caused 9/11.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which has always been a sticking point in why people don't really like new wave very much.
And they still don't.
And for me, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for new wave. Because when I saw 9/11, I was like, this isn't what we were doing,
But in a way, it's kind of the ultimate expression of what you were doing.
It was definitely a new wave.
Yeah.
I mean, everything changed after 9/11, so you could say that a new wave sort of washed over the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he I mean, I never spoke to him again, but I did get an encrypted file sent to me. And it was a song, and in kind of a cheeky way, it was Osama saying goodbye to me and also the Twin Towers. And so it was like about 9/11.
Oh.
And so what I was seeing when I was watching 9/11, he was kind of speaking to, because obviously he knew, he knew that when he did that, he was out of the band and we weren't doing that anymore. He had already made up his mind.
But he also knew that the band was important to both of you.
He knew it was important to both of us, and that I still loved him.
Yeah.
And I still do.
And he's on to better things.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace. For sure, rest in peace. I would have loved to go to the funeral, but they just threw him off a military ship into the ocean, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad, but it's really good for all the fish.
Yeah, but
The fish had a good time.
But me and a couple guys got together in Cape Cod and threw some flowers, and he liked Crunch bars, so he threw a Crunch bar in the ocean and kind of said goodbye to him in our own way.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Like 3 days after he was killed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it really sad for you when Obama, you were probably watching like Will and Grace reruns, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your favorite show.
Yeah.
And Obama came on the TV and announced, we've got him. We got Osama bin Laden. Was that like did you tear up? And
yeah, I think he said he said something about like we've executed Osama to a permanent end or something like that.
That was a wrestler.
Well, John Cena said that.
Yeah.
But wasn't he quoting Obama?
I don't think so.
I think Obama said something to that extent.
Do you think he said we compromised him to a permanent end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Cena said that, but I think Obama said something. So I think that's why he said, I don't know. Listen, it does make me a little emotional. But yeah, I thought that the way Obama talked about his death was a little callous because it's a person you're talking about. And he was like, he's dead. Like, it was like awesome. And it's like, okay, a guy died.
Yeah.
Like a man is dead.
He's got a family. He's got a big, big family.
He had a huge family. He had like 7 wives. That was my issue with the killing of Osama is like, same thing as the killing of the CEO.
Yeah.
Is like, everybody was like, oh, fuck yeah, he's dead. And I was like, a man has died.
Yeah.
This is a human life. This is a person who laughed.
Just like Luigi is a murderer, the SEAL Team 6 that killed him.
Equally evil people to me. And those are my politics. You figure them out.
Yeah.
But
I think they're pretty, you don't have to figure them out. They're pretty cut and dry.
They're congruent.
Yeah.
Human life matters.
Yeah, and
all human life matters. And so the way America celebrated Osama bin Laden's death, I found to be very callous because I was like, okay, 9/11 was bad. I didn't like it either. But also, that's one more person dead. And is that good for us?
Yeah, do you just added to the death toll of 9/11?
Way to go. 9/11 has killed more people.
Yeah. All right.
That's how I felt when Osama bin Laden died. I said, 9/11 continues to claim lives.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I feel that way about all the wars in the Middle East that followed 9/11. So those are also my politics. But
in a way, America was just 9/11. They were just upping it every single day. It's crazy.
There's a bit of a get over it factor. And also like with Obama,
welcome to Slabtober Part 3, by the way.
Welcome to Slab, whose middle name is Hussein.
Yes.
The way he talked about Osama kind of upset me because he called him a terrorist, and I was like, yes. But, he was also a musician. He was a father. He was a gamer.
Yeah.
And he was a friend.
Some movie buff.
And it's like, when you go to a funeral, what do they always say? They say, like if we were at your funeral in 60 years, they'd be like, Shane was a loving son, a loving friend, maybe a loving father, a loving brother. They would state the things that you are to other people.
And if I flew a plane into a building.
And then mention that too.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't not mention that you're a fucking brother, that you're a comedian, that you made people laugh. I loved Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Platonically. We never had nothing sexual ever happened. But I love him the way you love a friend. He was my brother. We had dreams together. And so like the way...
Is it true you guys Eiffel Towered Cyndi Lauper?
I mean, I hate to kiss and tell.
Okay.
But she was a little older at the time.
She was a little older at the time.
But we did.
Okay. So I don't know why it matters that she was older.
Listen, I don't want to get into the party days.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff just has to stay.
And then Osama made her one of his wives, I remember.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
They were on more of a girlfriend, but yeah. Technically a wife, but she wasn't really down for the whole lifestyle. I mean, she was a model actor. She had doing stuff. So
Yeah, she was doing so. She couldn't be involved with 9/11.
definitely not. That she got out a couple of years before then. She sort of saw where the winds were blowing and said, "I don't think I want to really be a part of this."
She said, "I don't want to be a part of 9/11."
Was she girls just want to have fun?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was, those two
and they did
things
have fun.
before,
Yeah,
And Osama had fun, but not the way girls like to. Girls don't like 9/11.
absolutely. Girls hate it.
9/11 is a purely man-made operation. I don't think they allowed any women to be involved with that.
Yeah, it's kind of like they don't let them drive cars. They don't let them do 9/11. It's kind of oppressive society they're from.
Well, I guess
no 9/11 for you.
That's sort of the double-edged sword of that sort of misogyny, where you can't drive a car, but you also don't have to worry about being recruited into a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are.
But I guess the issue is you are a guy's wife, and then the Navy SEALs come in and just shoot you 70 times in the face while you're holding a baby.
Yeah, and it is pretty bad, which that's probably equally as bad as when, Luigi shot CEO.
It's the
Brian.
same.
Yep, it's the same to me.
It's the same.
All the killing is every death that's happened in Israel, Hamas or Israel, it's the same as killing that guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
The context doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Yeah, when Brian Johnson was killed by Luigi, I said, this is my October 7th.
Yeah.
What we've built here with our large business and private insurance is my Israel.
Yeah.
And so his killing, I was like, call your capitalist friends. They're scared. Your capitalist friends are scared.
What if there was like when Brian Thompson got killed, they decided to retaliate by killing a bunch of sick people?
The CEOs.
Yeah, the CEOs are killing a bunch of people in hospitals.
They went into hospitals with like Glocks with switches and just unloaded on like a St. Jude's. There's Patrick Mahomes is visiting a sick kid and then like just gets sprayed. It would be that would, honestly maybe good for history as a whole, because then people will be like, oh, well, then it's a war. Now we're in a war. We killed a CEO, and then the CEO's friends killed 16 children with leukemia in St. Jude's off Broadway. So now there's been a first shot and now a retaliatory shot, and now this either escalates or we accept defeat.
And we probably would have accepted defeat.
I don't know. If they killed 16 kids and a bunch of people got amped up enough, for all we know, we could be killing people.
I don't know. I mean, people kill 16 kids all the time and we don't do shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying in such a direct,
yeah,
we're doing this to defend private equity and insurance and big business.
Maybe we could just say every mass shooter is doing that to defend big business.
These are the two sides. It's big business or sick children and the rest of humanity. You choose a side. And a lot of America would be honestly pretty puzzled.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would be like, well, I plan on being a millionaire.
Yeah. I plan on being a CEO.
That's what's fun about America, too, is your reality doesn't matter. It's like, even though you are a worker under the thumb of capitalist owners, you're still like, yeah, but I plan to be one of them.
Well,
so
yeah, that's what's funny. You're
them.
like, let's make sure income taxes are zero because when I'm making billions.
Yeah.
But right now, it's really fucking me up the ass. But when I'm making a lot of money.
Right now, those income taxes could really be used to fund social welfare programs. I could feed my children. But they'll just grow up hungry because eventually I'm gonna be an inventor.
Yep. I'm going to invent toothpaste that's also food.
Just watching Shark Tank, like, I'm really more one of the sharks. It's like, you work at a factory. You
press a button.
You should probably unionize.
Yeah.
You press a button.
Yeah, if there's anything you can take away from this podcast, definitely unionize wherever you are.
We unionized, and first off, this isn't even a business, and if it is, we're definitely our own bosses.
Yeah.
But we unionized.
And yeah, we unionized. We have free healthcare now. We can't fire each other.
Yeah, honestly, unionizing for us was kind of a bad idea because we don't have any money, so we just have to find money to pay into the union. Honestly, all we really did was just buy insurance. We got MetLife, and we just kind of called it a union, but we're out a lot of money.
Oh, I do want to have a shout out to a guy I met last night who's probably listening to the podcast. Yeah, I met a guy last night. He seemed really excited about the podcast. He was very excited to meet both of us. He had no clue the podcast existed, and then he became excited about Cooper. A man who did not speak to him.
I spoke to him. I said, "Hi, I'm Cooper. Nice to meet you."
Yeah, but he's probably listening to the podcast right now, enjoying it.
If he listened, he stopped at minute 5.
You think so?
We went right into being friends with Osama bin Laden.
I mean, he was a Kill Tony guy, so probably he,
Yeah, but the thing about, I think, making jokes like that is if you don't know or love the people making them.
But Kill Tony goes pretty immediately into it.
Yes, but I'm saying they have a base now. You know what I mean? And
we're slowly building one. We have that guy.
We are not.
And his wife.
I don't think we are.
I try so hard. I'm on the front lines advertising.
You are. I'm just saying I look at the numbers every week, and I can tell you we're not building anything. We're just sort of putting this out, and then a random amalgamation of people pop in and out.
Well, they probably stay for the whole time, don't they?
Our podcast is probably similar to the amount of cats that will eat out of a bowl you leave on the sidewalk where there are like a few stray cats around.
You think stray cats are listening to the podcast?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If stray cats could listen to podcasts, they would listen to this podcast. They would love it. Honestly, we could get so many more views if we made like a podcast that you can leave on for your cat when you go out to work. That was more of a baby podcast. But
I don't know. You do that too.
Here's what I think we should do.
Shit.
Okay, we should make it a podcast you can watch with your cats. What we do is we get a silhouette of a mouse that kind of like goes, because cats, I've put on a video for a cat where it's just a mouse moving to different corners of the screen, and they do love it.
Oh.
So, yawning a lot, thinking about Osama. But
he loved to yawn.
He did.
He was always sleepy. It's probably because all the plans.
He loved to live.
Yeah. Now he's dead. R.I.P.
So how's your life going? What's the big news in Shane Bianchi's life?
Big news. Damn, there ain't no shit. There really ain't. It's just doing comedy. Nobody gives a shit about that.
Yeah, doesn't that suck?
Yeah. Your life is just doing comedy, reading books, and nothing else, really.
Sometimes I feel like it's like I'll go to the rock climbing gym.
I don't do that.
Maybe go out to eat.
I don't do that.
Read a book. You were exercising for a little.
I was, and it's awful. I hate it. It's the worst.
You could find a form of exercise you don't hate so much.
I like walking, but it doesn't really help that much.
I think it does, yeah.
It doesn't really do that much for you.
It does.
I like the treadmill, but I don't own a treadmill, so I have to drive to the gym.
Why don't you just go for walks? It's way better than a treadmill.
Is it?
Yeah, treadmills make it easier.
What if you put all the incline all the way up?
Yeah, you got.
I'm not always walking uphill.
You have a hill around your house. You can walk up that hill every day.
Do I?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, I guess there's some inclines when you're walking.
No, right next to the cafe that you go to read is a very steep hill.
Oh, I walk up there every day.
You do?
Yeah.
What's up that hill?
It's the cafe. Oh, wait.
The cafe's at the bottom of the hill. I'm saying right next to it, you walk up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Wait.
Because across the street from OC Mart, like across Virgil, if you look across Virgil from OC Mart, is a steep hill.
Yeah, I walk up there every day to get to the cafe.
Oh, I thought you went to the cafe at the bottom of the hill.
No.
I didn't know there's a cafe at the top.
There is. It's outside. I like an outside cafe.
Okay, well, look, you're doing a hill every day.
Yeah, and that's nothing.
Walking's good for you.
Yeah, but all the other things I do are bad for me.
Well, you could do less bad things.
Well, now you're talking insane.
Slowly.
That's crazy. I mean, I worked in the back door and had to sit there, so I couldn't smoke. So I didn't smoke as much as I usually do.
That's great. You used to drink alcohol. Now you don't.
Yeah.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah, it really feels awful.
I'm going to turn on the AC. Talk about alcoholism, then I'll come back and we'll talk more about alcoholism.
All right. Well, the thing about alcoholism no one really tells you is that you always look back fondly on when you drink. You know, you always remember when you drink and how fun it was, and you always remember, oh, I can't do that anymore. That sucks.
Yeah, I've never talked to anybody that's an alcoholic or even just has quit drinking. Maybe they're not totally an alcoholic, but they quit. But I was having dinner with my uncle, who's mostly estranged from a side of my family because he likes Trump, but I'll still go over to see him. He's fun to talk to. They don't talk about politics, which kind of sucks. Like, my mom is not really political, but she's like, you know, the rest of the family doesn't really talk to him because he likes Trump, but he's my brother, so I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah.
But then they come over and they kind of don't talk about politics, and I understand because people disagree, and I don't want to sound like a dumb fucking 15-year-old, but it's like talking to somebody who has such radically different views, if you're both okay enough to kind of accept at the beginning, like, we're just not going to change each other's opinions, but I do want to hear from you, it's a much more interesting conversation than talking about what's on television. Because the whole time I'm sitting there, I just want to be like, what do you like about him?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what is it that, you know, or whatever. But we're talking about drinking. He's going to celebrate like 35 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
And then I was talking about how I quit drinking. And I was like, yeah, I quit drinking. And then almost immediately he was like, yeah, isn't it fucking awesome? And I was like, yeah, quitting at 25 sucks. He's like, that's when I quit. It sucks. It fucking sucks. And like, talk to my dad who's like sober now, and just like, it is reassuring to talk to people who are like, you know, fully sober, because I'm not fully sober. Like, I hit a weed pen last night, hated it.
Yeah.
Besides weed, I'm pretty much fully sober unless you consider caffeine and nicotine drugs, which they are. But
they don't get you fucked up.
They don't get you fucked up. They don't make you forget that your life is just a walking hell.
Yeah.
They make you think your life is a little bit less of a walking hell, though, I will say.
Oh, yeah. I fell asleep last night, and I was so excited to have a soda the next day.
Yeah. The sugar really kicks up when you stop drinking.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle brought over cookies to dinner last night for a dessert. They're like crumble cookies, which is like a nice bakery here, and it was like the small ones, so they're not too big. And I went home with 6, and they're gone.
Yeah.
I've ate 6 cookies in the last 10 hours.
I mean, yeah, cookies are fucking delicious.
Probably like 4 grams of sugar per cookie, at least.
I mean, this is at least 0 sugar, 0 calorie cola. So, you know.
What's even in that?
I don't know. Some shit that's probably way worse for you.
Caramel color, phosphoric acid, aspartame. That's the one they say is really bad. Aspartame. That's like cancer causing.
Yeah.
Potassium bentonite to protect taste. Natural flavors. Potassium citrate. Potassium caffeine. Stevia. Yeah, you get the stevia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever been addicted to stuff, you talk to them though, and they're like, it's fucking awesome. I was just talking to my dad about drunk driving. I got lunch with him. And he was like, yeah, you know, it's good you don't drink because I know you were driving when you were still drinking because you would go to work and then drink and drive home. And I was like, I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Drunk driving is awesome.
I remember there was one night I was drunk at the Comedy Store and I'd worked all night. So that's why I was drunk. And then I asked my friend for a ride up the hill. I won't name any names in the story, but I was like, can I get a ride up the hill? And he was like, no, I don't think I should give you a ride. You're drunk. And I was like, fuck you, you fucking pussy. And then so I started walking up the hill drunk. And then he like pulled up and was like, hey, buddy, I really don't think you should drive. I was like, fuck you. You just want to fuck my girlfriend. That's when I was with my ex. And he was like, what? And then I just angrily got to my car and then got home. And I never drove crazy drunk, but it's sort of one of those nights where you're like, I shouldn't have drove.
Yeah.
But you smoke cigarette. One time I cleared out my car while driving. just was throwing trash out the window, which is terrible.
Yeah.
But it felt great. I had a clean car.
Yeah.
Drunk driving's fun.
Yeah, whenever something's cleaner than it was, it's awesome.
Then you go, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah. We've been cleaning our apartment. It's nasty in there.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. I got a Swiffer.
Oh, okay, great.
We got a mop.
Awesome.
Yeah, but the ground is very dirty.
Yeah.
The ground sucks.
Is the Swiffer helping?
Yeah. Swiffer's helping.
Yeah.
The ground still sucks, though.
You might have to do a few rounds.
Probably take a while. It sucks.
Put some bleach on the Swiffer, maybe.
Oh, I could do that.
I don't know how those work. Couldn't hurt, I guess. I mean, your whole place will smell like bleach. You got to open windows so you don't gas yourselves out.
Yeah.
Do you have good ventilation in your apartment?
No way. Not a single chance.
How many windows are there in the living room?
There's 2.
Is there like a sliding door to a balcony or anything?
Not upstairs.
So there's just like a window in the kitchen and like a window.
There's 2 windows.
To the world?
There's 2 windows in the living room. There's no window in the kitchen.
There's no window in the kitchen.
Well, there's a window. The living room and the kitchen are connected, you know?
Yeah. But like in the kitchen area, there's not like a window near the stove?
No. There's no stove.
Where the stove would be, though.
No.
You guys should get a stove.
Yeah, we should. That would make life easier. But.
Well, if Michael doesn't want to move in, I'll move in and we'll get a stove. Stoves are not that expensive.
Yeah?
It's like $500.
Huh. I don't know, though. I'd be bringing some nasty-ass hose back to my apartment, and I don't know if you'd like that.
I don't really care.
I'd be bringing 500-pound hose.
As long as I'm able to cook potatoes
That's
and
where
onions.
all the grime comes from.
I don't think that's true.
They throw up on the floor.
Do you bring women back to your apartment ever?
I've done it once, but I usually, if I'm having sex, I have sex at the woman's apartment.
Yeah. Do you just tell them I have a really gross apartment?
I kind of like try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Saying that.
But it's sort of obvious you're a young guy.
But mine's pretty gross.
I feel like when you're a young guy, it's sort of a given of like, I live with other men and the place is disgusting.
Yeah.
You don't come over.
Yeah, I'll just stay here.
We should just do it here.
Where it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it'll at least smell better.
When was the last time you had sex?
A couple weeks ago.
Did you use protection?
Yeah.
Who'd you have sex with?
Some lady.
Where'd you meet her?
Instagram.
Instagram?
That is how majority of it happens.
How did that start? You found her page or she liked one of your comedy things?
She liked my comedy, yeah.
And then did she come to a show?
No. We just went out.
Is this person related to comedy at all?
No.
So did she message you first?
No.
So you just noticed that she liked a couple of your posts.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of messaged her.
Yeah, I'm a predator.
Let me see a picture of her.
No, I don't do that.
Well, we won't put it on the thing.
No, I don't like to do that anymore.
Why not anymore?
It always feels like a bad omen. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess, sure, in a way, but we're not being disrespectful.
I just decided this is a weird New Year's resolution I have.
Okay, yeah.
Is I don't like name names or talk or show pictures or anything.
Okay.
Because last year I did it and then it was bad every time.
Is your New Year's resolution also to have sex with really ugly women that you just don't want to tell anybody about?
No.
Gotcha. Roasted.
No. I'm talking to one woman right now, though. Kind of.
Are you going to make love to her?
I don't know. Maybe.
Have you expressed interest in making love to her?
Should I?
You could message her.
I could message her and say, hey, I have an explicit interest.
Just message her and say, would you like to make love?
That's a really good idea.
Hello. Would you like to make love?
She came to a show. The store.
You told me about that.
Yeah.
You could propose to her.
Yeah. I should have done that on stage. Instead of doing my jokes. I could just propose to women.
What kind of person do you think you'd be the least compatible with?
I feel like I either date trashy women or women that are like very upper crust, you know?
So it's like either side of the pendulum? You don't really get like middle-class women?
Not really, no.
Who was the lady that you had sex with? Was she an upper crust lady?
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I feel like a lot of upper class women see me as like slumming.
And that's fun for them.
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
I
I mean, do you think you could be in a relationship with somebody like that? Because that
I
sounds
don't
more like a
know.
sex thing.
don't know if it's a sex thing though. I think I mean it makes me feel, you know, like what is it, pigeonholed, you know?
Yeah, do you ever feel like you're being used for some sort of poor fetish?
Kinda. Yeah. It's a weird thing, but like you do that on stage. I do that on stage too.
When you're around them, do you ever sort of up your whatever you perceive as your low-class traits? Do you ever exaggerate them for them?
No, they do that for me.
How so? They call it out?
They'll ask me to like take them shooting and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you? Have you taken a woman shooting?
It's too expensive.
That's the funniest answer possible. She's like, yeah, this poor redneck, I want you to take me shooting. And you're like, do you know how much it is to go to a fucking shooting range?
Yeah.
How much is it?
It's probably run me at least $400 or $500.
To rent a gun and everything?
Yeah, you gotta rent a gun, and you gotta buy ammo.
Is it really that expensive?
It's at least $300. I
That's
don't know.
pricey.
I haven't shot out here. So I'm guessing what it would be out here.
I'd love to have a gun, but I can't have one.
Yeah. It's I technically own a gun. I technically own a shotgun. But it's back home. It's my grandfather was flipping out about that he's gonna die soon, so he decided to just give us what our inheritance was, which is guns.
I think we talked about that, yeah. My grandpa gave me Kurt Vonnegut books.
Yeah, mine gives me guns and smoked meth.
Some would say the book is mightier than the gun.
Nerds.
Yeah, nerds.
Yeah.
I mean, not in an apocalypse scenario. If a guy comes to your door trying to take your woman and use her for milk and children, then...
Yeah, you can't throw an Allen Ginsberg book at it.
But if he
Not
read...
even the collected works.
No, which should throw him off.
Yeah.
If he read just a page, he might, have something to say about it.
What if he read a super dirty page and that got to turn on?
Yeah.
And then he starts being like, all right, I want some boy ass now, and he holds you down.
Right. And I don't have a gun.
Yeah, you don't have a gun,
Yeah.
so really that was the worst move you could have pulled.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, none of my skills will be helpful if there's not a government sort of protecting me.
I don't know.
I'm not really...
A lot of conflict avoidance is just like, isn't just like being able to fight back. It's just like being able to just pick up on signals and shit and
yeah, but
not put yourself in a situation.
I think when you're dealing with a lack of resources, then you either have to have resources or provide some sort of service or function.
You can, if you had a gun in that case, if you knew how to use it.
But in this case, I don't.
Yeah, and you're fucked.
I think we're both fucked.
Why?
If things fall to shit, what are we good for?
I guess you don't really know until it happens.
Funny guys who read?
I guess. I mean, yeah, I could be a general.
What makes you think you could be a general?
Be a warlord.
You don't even have a gun.
I get a gun, and also,
it's not a merit-based system; it's a power-based system.
Yeah, but you also have to be well-read to like do a lot of that stuff. You have to
not to be a warlord.
I guess not but like to be a general in the war of the water.
But once again, we're talking about warlords, not generals. I mean,
I guess we're talking about warlords.
You've seen Mad Max. The guy that rules everything has like a smart guy that he chains by the neck.
That's us.
At best.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't even know that much.
Yeah, that's
I mean, if
right.
anything, that guy would be like a college professor.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're dumb as hell.
We act bad.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you're right. I hope the apocalypse doesn't happen because then we'd be fucked.
All we are is attractive.
Yeah.
Which means if the apocalypse happens,
we'd be fuck slaves.
We'd just be fuck slaves. We'd just be some emperor's beautiful, beautiful boys.
To Andrew Scholes, who's a real man's man.
Absolute man's man.
Even though he had to, he couldn't knock his own wife up. Like an awesome guy.
He couldn't do that, which doesn't help you in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Having weak seed.
Which he does. Objectively. He has a special about it. About how he's not a real man. I did this whole special about how I'm not a real man.
A lot of comedians will kind of fault each other for, like, now they call each other fascists, or they say they're not joke writers, or they say they're bought by corporate interests. I want to go back to, like, sort of medieval stuff, you know, to just, like, be like, we're calling out Andrew Schultz because he could not bore his own spawn. He has weak seed, which means he's not fit to be a leader.
He absolutely isn't.
Yeah. We just kind of forget that, like, women's biology also has to do with, actually, a lot more with the kind of child you get.
I mean, they had a kid and it miscarried. Again, it's on him.
Yes. Roast. Flagrant. You want to
come to us. Come at us.
You want to see flagrant stuff? We're saying this guy's life is not valuable because of his weak seed.
He thinks he's a man.
And our seed is untested, so it's sort of a Schrodinger seed. It's either the strongest or the weakest. Who knows?
I bet I have some fucking fire-ass seed.
I don't think I do, based on the way I pee.
Based on the way I pee, I really got to use protection every single time.
I pee quite often. It's never very much. It never comes out strong. And last night, it smelled really bad.
Sometimes it does smell bad.
I don't know. Mine smelled sharp.
I've had that happen before.
Yeah, I don't know.
You probably just weren't drinking enough water that day.
I didn't actually. I didn't have enough water. I had a lot of sugar. It was like diabetes pee. I think I might have diabetes.
You think so?
Yeah, sometimes. But
sometimes my foot feels tingly.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty bad.
But I have symptoms of diabetes, but I've been tested for it and I don't have it. So
I've never been tested for anything.
Do you have insurance?
Medi-Cal.
You should get a physical.
Yeah. How do they do that? How do they test you for diabetes?
You just find your local... Do you already have a doctor?
I do. I have to go to one in Van Nuys.
Okay, yeah. So just call him and say you want to get a physical. And they'll give you their next available appointment. And
I call them and I'm like, hey, do the one where you touch my balls.
They'll touch them for a physical, yeah.
Please touch my balls.
They'll touch your penis and your balls.
Make sure your hands are really cold.
And they'll say, do you have a girlfriend? Because they don't... A lot of times, to be colloquial, they won't say, are you sexually active? They're like, do you have a girlfriend?
And I go, one.
And you kind of want...
I have a bunch. And I have sex with all of them without a condom. And they don't know about each other. And they're allowed to fuck who they want.
It's a weird question, though, when a guy looks at your penis and then goes, do you have a girlfriend? She's like, does it look like I don't?
Or does it look like I do?
Should it be plumper? Or does it look drained? My balls look like they're getting used or not used? What do you mean by that question? I think they just ask it, but...
They asked, do you have a girlfriend? And you're like, well, are you trying to be my girlfriend?
Well, yeah, it's sort of
Put
like...
your mouth around it.
You trying to be my girlfriend?
Why don't you test it for STDs with your mouth?
Yeah,
there's been some ooze.
There's also a weird thing where, like, sometimes doctors will kind of hinge so much on the straight stuff. You got to be like, well, I fuck dudes too. I still fuck. You know,
check
like
my
when I was
asshole.
Single and stuff, but check my asshole right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get a physical, get your blood tests and stuff. I should go back for a physical because last time they tested me, they said my thyroid gland was like overactive, which means there's like too much hormones getting released.
Oh.
And I was like, is that dangerous? They're like, well, it's not really at an amount that matters yet, but come back and we'll see.
Damn. So your hormones are crazy. Unlike Andrew Scholes, whose hormones are probably really bad.
He has none.
Yeah. The way he's making he had to do IVF.
But he smokes cigars.
Well, that's, you know.
So that makes him like a strong guy. He smokes cigars with other men and they talk about...
Did he drink scotch?
I think, yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
Damn, we don't do that.
No.
But as far as we know, we could knock our wives up.
Yeah.
So, I've smoked cigars and drank scotch before.
I just
I
want to
haven't
like.
done it in a while.
We should just have like 5 kids each, and then when we meet other comedians like who are more famous than us, they try and big dog us with their fame, and it's like, you're not a man. You've born no children. And they're like, how many kids do you have? And we're like,
Too
our
many.
respective ages, and we're like 6. And they're like, what the fuck? And we're like, we're men.
Yeah.
You need to spread your genes as much as possible.
Yeah.
I was reading something that, like, when it comes to, like evolution, it's not about survival of the fittest. It's about survival of the genes. So, like, theoretically, if I help my brother have, like, 2 kids, that's like 100% of my genes being passed on.
So if you, like, hitch your brother?
Yeah. Like, technically, evolutionarily, like, me having a kid and him having a kid is the same as like him having 2 kids, because we got like 50% variability in genes. So if he has 2, there's a good chance that 100% of my genes have passed on, so I don't need to have a kid.
So that's why you shouldn't fuck your brother. Because if you fuck your brother, he might, like, that'll be some seed that shoots out of his penis.
Well, that's a waste of, you're sort of wasting it, because
Your
it just goes into
genetic
his butt, and then he shits it out, and then you can't have a relationship with him. So it's usually bad.
Yeah, you'll be merely using your brother for sex.
Yeah. But then, like, if each of my cousins have, like, 2 kids, then, like, that's passing on my genes.
And then because
it, like,
you said
goes
before
down.
the podcast, the second cousin is the most optimal partner.
According to this brain book I've been reading, when it comes to passing on your genes and not having incest, a lot of people in, like, Iceland or Greenland, they marry their, like, second or third cousin.
Oh.
Because it, like, passes on your genes, and you don't have incest.
Yeah, and then you don't
have, like,
then you
kids.
can just wait for the, like, kid to be born, like, or the kid to be, like, a adult, if it's a girl.
And then what, Shane?
You could have sex with your second cousin when she's 20 years old and you're 40.
With your child, do you mean?
What?
You said with a kid.
Yeah, when the kid becomes an adult.
You have sex with it?
Yeah.
Well, then that's your child, so that's incest.
That's not your child. You don't have sex with your own kid. You have sex with your cousin's kid.
Oh. Who'd they have sex with? Just a random guy?
Your cousin your cousin
I don't want to touch those genes.
Well, that's the most optimal gene.
I just want to start a big family with a random lady I'm not attracted to. We'll get some new genes, start a big family, and then make everybody below us have sex.
That's a good point.
The children, the brothers, the sisters, the cousins.
The dog.
The dog.
Dog. A lot of people that breed dogs by having them have sex with other dogs. No. We're gonna breed some fucking good ass dogs by having them have sex with people.
Yeah, I want to breed my family.
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Let me look through. Let me look up. Let me look that up.
What are you going to Google?
I'm going to Google, is it all right to have sex with your entire family and make them have sex with each other?
Make sure you write the word entire on it.
Okay.
Look up, are you allowed to have sex with your entire family? ? Not for me, though. Just thinking about it. Don't get mad at me or nothing. We can end the podcast with a poem today if you'd like.
I looked it up. There was no results.
What did you look up?
I looked up, are you allowed to have sex with your entire family? ... Not for me, though. Oh, we're ending it with Paris Spleen?
Well, we talked about poetry on the last episode.
This is really lame.
You think it's lame?
Yeah.
What if we make it funny?
Okay.
We're like funny guys.
Yeah, we can make this shit funny. Baudelaire's Paris Spleen, one of the greatest books ever written.
This is just for we have some literary followers.
Yeah.
Do you think it's lame?
No.
I think the whole podcast is lame. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, we are. All right, let's do it.
And we're not tall.
You're not.
You're shorter than me.
A lot of people don't know that.
Most people know that.
No.
People who know us know that.
Who is it that said, I think it was Terrence or Killian, who said, "Aren't you guys the same height?"
That's crazy. Okay, so let's hear your analysis on this. This is called The Old Woman's Despair. A wizened little old woman felt gladded and gay at the sight of the pretty baby that everyone was making such a fuss over, and that everyone wanted to please. Such a pretty little creature, as frail as the old woman herself, and toothless and hairless like her. She went up to him all nods and smiles, but the infant, terrified, struggled to get away from her caresses, filling the house with his howls. Then the old woman went back to her eternal solitude and wept alone, saying, "Ah, for us miserable old females, the age of pleasing is past. Even innocent babies cannot endure us, and we are scarecrows to little children whom we long to love."
Well, that woman's hit the wall. Are you familiar with the wall?
A little bit, but do you want to describe it?
The wall is when a woman hits 30, which I'm assuming that woman is about 30 years old, probably 31.
I think he's trying to say she's like 70. She's like old and wrinkled, because he said hairless and toothless.
To me, that sounds like a 30-year-old woman. But
okay.
The wall is when a woman hits 30, so she rides the cock carousel throughout her 18 to 30.
And this is how you describe it to like a class, like a poetry class?
Yeah.
Like, how would you describe it to a poetry class?
All right. The cock carousel, sorry if I'm, pardon my French, you know.
Okay, yeah. So you're a little defensive as a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, cheeky.
Yeah.
So, essentially, they bounce from penis, like man to man, having sex with them, and they waste their youth where they could spend it finding a husband. And then this woman turns 30, and then a baby can't even bear the sight of her.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm a student.
Yes.
So, Professor Bianchi, you say women. Do you mean all women?
I mean every single woman who's ever lived.
But, like my mom, I think most people in this class, most people, at least in modern society, are monogamous, and they do have sex with multiple people, but then eventually marry and just have sex with one person for the rest of their life. So, like, your analysis seems kind of not necessarily accurate to the general populace as a whole. And if we're doing an analysis, is kind of confusing. Because in the author doesn't say anything about like the cocks this old woman. He just says she's an old woman. He doesn't say that she's rode a cock.
Impressive thing about the impressive thing about poetry is that it's a purely it's a what's the word, tonal experience, and well it retains the word. You can interpret it in any way. It's all about how you feel, you know?
Do you feel like you're like projecting onto this old, because I know, I think kind of what you're saying about poetry is like you can kind of add what you want to it almost. But I feel like you've kind of done that.
Joseph Libtard, a guy that speaks up in every time I try to talk.
Okay, I mean, I'm allowed to ask questions. We're in a class.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I'm not trying to be a libtard here. I'm just saying,
that's your full name, Joseph Senior.
Just like
Samuel Libtard.
Well, that's an unfortunate coincidence. But
I was not calling you a libtard. I was just saying that it's just you're the only one that ever has any questions. No one else. Everybody else kind of takes
It's kind of weird. Nobody else has anything to say because you just said a really general statement about like the entirety of the female race.
Oh! Somebody else has a question. Oh, Sally. All right, what does Sally have to say? Professor Bianchi, I think what you said was right.
Oh, this one was my senior quote.
Joseph Samuel Libtard is full of shit, and I'm gonna stab him when he leaves.
Okay, you did that thing again where you made up a student. There's no girl over there.
All right, let me ask the actual women there. All right, Betty, you give an answer. Hey, I'm Betty. I'm a real woman. I'm a real fire-ass woman. I think the cock carousel is some real shit. I think Joseph Samuel Libtard, his butthole's full of fucking butt plugs, and he needs to take a shit, but he won't take the butt plugs out. He's full of shit.
So, Betty...
And I'm gonna stab him on the way out.
Okay, Betty, this is Joseph speaking. Betty, do you ride the cock carousel?
Every single day, I'm gonna waste my whole 20s. That's how women are taught to be by feminism.
So who taught you that? Like
Society.
Okay, but like specifically, where'd you get these ideas from?
The entertainment media.
but specifically, like, what did you watch or read or commentators who told
I read
you?
Harry Potter when I was a kid, and it taught me magic was real, and it made me reject Jesus.
Okay. So because you believe in magic and you've rejected Jesus, you ride
You're damn right.
You ride the cock carousel throughout your 20s.
And when I turn 30, I'm gonna hit the wall. So I'm gonna find a low value man, and I'm gonna settle down. Because I don't like nice guys.
Betty, have you been watching like right-wing man-centered commentators?
No, sir. No, sir. I've been watching SpongeBob.
Okay, Betty, can I ask you about this poem? It's a short one. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Pandemonium of New Year's Eve, chaos of snow and mud churned up by 1,000 carriages glittering with toys and bonbons, swarming with cupidity and despair. Official frenzy of a big city designed to trouble the mind of the most impervious solitary. In the midst of this deafening hubbub, a donkey was trotting briskly along, belabored by a low fellow armed with a whip. Just as the donkey was about to turn a corner, a resplendent gentleman, all groomed, gloved, cruelly cravated, and imprisoned in brand-new clothes, made a ceremonious bow to the humble beast, saying as he took off his hat, "A very happy and prosperous New Year to you." Then he turned with a fatuous air, toward some vague companions as though to beg them to make his satisfaction complete by their applause. The donkey paid no attention to this elegant wag and continued to trot zealously along where duty called. As for me, I was suddenly seized by an incomprehensible rage against this bedizened imbecile, for it seemed to me that in him was concentrated all the wit of France.
First off, I want to say, we weren't assigned that poem by Professor Bianchi.
Because it doesn't have to do with women.
Why have you decided to come into the class and try to read the poems to us?
I don't know. I just wanted to see what else you had to say.
Get Professor Bianchi over here to explain where, you know this course, right? It's Feminism is Cancer 101.
Is that the name of this course?
Yeah, why did you, it's like, I know that you kind of had to take it, because, you're remedial in a lot of ways, so they made you take all the dumb classes everybody already knows all the stuff, too. There's a lot of women, and that's why you're the only man in here, is because you're so dumb, and you don't know all the stuff that all those other people do. And you're reading past where I assigned, and has nothing to do with the cock carousel, or the wall, or Chad's and Stacy's.
This one's a little long. It's called The Wild Woman and the Fashionable Coquette. Are we going to read that later?
No.
Why? It's called The Wild Woman. I feel like you'd have things to say about that.
I will say it eventually, but we're not going to read that today. Why are you going through the goddamn textbook?
This one's called Widows. Are we going to read that?
Widows. Another one about the wall.
Do you fear the wall, Becky?
Oh, wait. Becky was the other one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear the wall, but I'm going to find a low-value man and date him in my 30s and marry him and make him take care of me.
What?
In fact, I think you, Joseph Samuel Libtard, would be a good low-value man because you take the dumb guy classes.
What's a low... Well, you're in the same class.
I'm a woman.
You're so misogynistic.
No, I'm not.
Betty.
I'm not. All us women need to know about what's going to happen to us. All the men already know about it.
What's a low-value man, Betty?
Some guy like you. Some guy that asks too many goddamn questions.
Wait, so a low-value man is a man that asks many questions?
No, you're goddamn wrong. Low-value man.
Why do you cuss like that? You just cuss so randomly.
You pissed me off. You be asking all the wrong questions.
What kind of questions should I ask?
You should be saying to Mr. Bianchi, thank you so much for not kicking me out of the class because I scored a 1 on the fucking SAT.
It's not a question.
Well, you should be making some comments about how thankful you are to be in a class with exclusively beautiful young women.
Will you have sex with me now, Betty?
No, I have not hit the wall yet.
But once you hit the wall, you will?
I'm gonna hit the wall.
And you're okay with that.
It's how society taught me.
Well, this one's called Which is the Real One? That's sort of the original Who's the Real Slim Shady, I guess.
What does that have to do with anything? You think that shit is funny?
But this miraculous girl was too beautiful to live long.
All right.
So
we're gonna have to.
I'm not going to read the whole thing, just this line. But this miraculous girl was too beautiful to live long, and so it was. Only a few days after I had come to know her, she died, and I buried her with my own hands. One day, when spring was swaying its censer over the graveyards.
Yep, another tragic case of the wall.
I mean, that kind of. You got lucky on that one. She was too beautiful to live, and then she died. That's kind of what you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, that's kind of that was going to be the last poem we talked about in the class. You kind of flipped through. Yeah.
Is the whole class against feminism just Baudelaire poems?
Well, we're going to talk about Baudelaire now. We're going to talk about Rimbaud next week. Then we're going to get into some E.E. Cummings. Then we're going to read Christopher Hitchens' Why Women Aren't Funny. Yeah, that's essentially the whole class.
Okay, well.
And I mean, the only reason you're in here is because your IQ was just so low.
I'm a low value man.
You were absolute low value man.
Okay,
well. Anyway, that's been the class for this day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Slabtober. I think next week is the end of Slabtober.
Next week is the end of Slabtober.
Yeah. All right. Well, bye.